Hey guys, what's going on? UltimatDJz here from Talking Trek, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast with a new video for you here today. So, a lot of you guys have been messaging me. I've seen this all over the Discords. You're getting error messages. This is about the brand spanking new Pure Research improvement. Let's say, quote, improvement. I'm doing air quotes right now. The improvement that we got with the last patch that is showing a decreased cost for your materials and your resources for your ship component upgrades. You can see here on the screen, this is what we posted in the podcast with the actual before and after, and we talked about how Pure Research is now being displayed. We thought that was great, right? And it is, overall. The benefits to this are that you have less raw stored in your base. You don't have to redeem tokens only to have hundreds of millions of resources left over. You can actually now spend exactly what it takes. So for example, if a ship component costs 500 million and your Pure Research would get it down to 250 million, you're not forced to have 500 million in your base and then be left with 250 million raw in the base. You can actually now spend directly what it actually costs. Now, we talked about this the other day, that it's kind of wonky. It's not working for everybody exactly right. You might have to move a ship in and out of dock or move it out into space and then recall it or change dock positions, but nonetheless, you can force your client into showing what's now called this Pure Research as a display efficiency instead of a rebate type efficiency. Now, a lot of people don't like the word rebate either, and I'm going to explain that coming up here in just a little bit, but let's start with a couple of examples here. Now, on this first slide, I took 3-player examples, and I'm going to show you throughout the video and then give you the rationale for each of these, okay? On this next slide here, you're going to see a couple of different researches. These are the researches that impact most people. Here you see your pure titanium, your pure dilithium, your Klingon and Federation and Romulan ship structure. These are what I call faction ship structure researches, or those are the types of pures for that. They affect or reduce the cost of titanium and dilithium for ship components. You also see pure parts, okay? Pure parts Explorer, Battleship, and Interceptor, which are going to help reduce the cost of parts, okay? You're also going to see here on this fourth one your pure materials, pure crystal, gas, and ore. And then finally here on the far right side, you'll see your Federation, Klingon, and Romulan pures, okay? These will reduce the expense or improve the efficiency of crystal, gas, and ore for that faction ship, for example. Now, just as a side note, the Klingon one is kind of nice, right? Because you can actually use it on a couple of different ships. You can use it on the D4. You can also use it on the D3. You can also use it on the Cavort, the crystal miner, okay? That is one distinct advantage of Klingon pure crystals, that it also services that faction miner. The Federation Pure Gas, only good for primarily the Enterprise and primarily the Mayflower. Romulan Pure Ore, sorry, I think I said Ore, Federation Pure Gas. The Romulan Pure Ore, again, Augur, and Legionary. Those are your level 26 ships. Finally, over here to the far right, you're going to see some extra parts research. This is available now in the brand new Outlaw research tree. That's Interceptor, Explorer, and Battleship bartering. That'll increase your efficiency for parts, along with the pure parts that we saw in the Galaxy research tree. This is now in the Rogue research tree. So let me begin with an example. And shout out to the several players who helped me work on this today. There were definitely a few players that reached out to me to help me conduct some of this research, and we were able to kind of narrow it down. So let's start here with shout out Vreddy. What's up, Vreddy? Appreciate you helping me out today. So you'll see here what we started with are these two slides right here, these two screenshots here of the amount of titanium and dilithium that he had in his base. Right underneath that, you're going to see the Cargo Bay 2 component of his Bakor. This is a mining ship, a G4 mining ship, but it doesn't have to be on G4. This is going to be on G3. Heck, it even is going to work on G2 ships, all right? Just the different researches do different things. But here's a Bakor, and here's the Cargo Bay Tier 2 component. And you can see right side by side, here's a before and after, okay? The before shot is the 96 million titanium and 3.9 million dilithium. This is the base cost. You guys can verify this in LCARS. Actually, if you look at the very bottom of the slide, you're going to see what came directly out of LCARS, which is the Bakor Tier 2 Cargo Bay build costs. These are base values directly out of LCARS 2.0, so you guys can check that out. Now, if you look back at the screen or the screenshot for the 96 million versus the 24.6 million. Now, here's what's happening, okay? If you go ahead and buy the upgrade when the screen is displaying the 96 million. Not the end of the world. You can do that. You still get your quote-unquote rebate. And again, I'm going to explain why that's not the right word here in a few minutes. But that's the way everyone has kind of always described it, is the rebate. You're going to see that it costs 96 million trite, 3.9 million dill. But if he buys it right there, he doesn't have enough dill. He's going to have to redeem tokens, right? If you take a look at the research display, or the second part of the screenshot, where the research is so quote-unquote displayed, you're going to see the same cargo bay 2 for the Bakor, but it's going to be at a reduced cost. You're going to see 24.6 million trite and 1 million dilithium. Now, let's go back and take a look now at the counters, the tritanium and the dilithium that he had. He had, looks like about 1 billion tritanium, so he set there. But dilithium, we were short. We only had 605,000 dilithium. So here's what we did. We obviously tried to redeem 500,000 dilithium. That gets us over the 1 million mark, right? That gets us over the 1 million, 1.1 million. So in theory, we should be able to punch that upgrade with the reduced cost and get it to go through. But that's not what's happening to a lot of players. You're getting this error message right here. You do not have enough resources to complete this action. Well, why? I don't understand. It says the display is right. I've got it. I've got 1.1 million dill. Why do I not have enough resources to complete this action? And here is the answer. The display on the pure research is not displaying properly. Now, some people call it a display bug, some people call it a calculation bug, whatever. I'm actually gonna give you the answer at the end of the video as to why it's not working and how we were able to calculate it. But bottom line is, that's not the actual amount of dilithium that you need for this upgrade. Let's go back to these researches. Okay, we look at pure dill. This is a Klingon ship, so we're looking at Klingon ship efficiency that increases the efficiency for tritanium and dilithium on a ship. And guys, we've talked about this formula before. All right, Scopely does their formulas a little bit backwards, but what we're going to do is we're going to add up all the bonuses. We're going to add up all the bonuses for dilithium here. Okay, so if you take a look at this player's example, I'll shuffle you back to that original first slide, where he's got max pure dilithium. That's a 100% boost. 100% on top of his base, so that's a factor of 1, essentially, okay? We're also going to come over here to Klingon ship structure, which is level 8, and level 8 Klingon ship structure is an additional bonus of 68%. Okay, so your total bonuses here are 1.68 or 168% just regarding the dilithium here. Now, if I go back to the original base value that is displayed by LCARS, it's telling me that it's going to require 3.9 million dilithium. That's the base value before any research efficiencies, any type of discount or rebate or cost reduction, whatever you want to call it. So according to this math, we are going to take the 3.9 million, we're going to divide that by 1, which is your base, plus the sum of all your bonuses, which in this case is 168%. So we're going to take 3.9 million divided by 2.68. And that is going to tell us what we actually are going to be required to spend. Now, you might say, well, that doesn't make sense because the display says 1 million. And if you do that math, that equals 1.455 million and then some change. Okay, 1.455223 million, or 1,455,223. Okay, that's the math. That is what this guy's research actually says that he's going to have to spend. That is the amount of dilithium that he's going to have to spend to upgrade this particular ship component. So let's go back and take a look now at his dilithium after he redeemed an additional, I think it was an extra 500,000 tokens, an extra 900,000 in dilithium. All right, he took his dilithium up from 605,000, and now it's 1.507 million. All right, we did just enough to prove this. All right, because a minute ago he was denied. He didn't have the resources. So now he's redeemed and is carrying 1.5 million dilithium. You can see there his current counter, 1,507,649 dilithium. And we know that the server is going to be demanding 1,455,000 dilithium. So he redeemed that, and voila. we have an upgrade. No error. The actual upgrade went through. And you might say, what was he left with? He was left with exactly what we expected. You take that 1.5 million, whatever it was, subtract the 1.455 million, and what are you left with? 56,840 dilithium, down to the T. I mean, this was precise, folks. Exact math. This formula works perfectly on the server side. So it's not displaying properly, but we know what it's supposed to cost. Let's take a look at another example here. He decided then, let's try out this kinetic, the photon torpedo on the USS Enterprise, the kinetic weapon at Tier 7. So we decided to do the same thing. Now, you can see the two screenshots here. There's the original cost, and right next to it is the reduced cost. You can see, of course, we're down to no. We have no dilithium. We're down to the no dilithium at all. All right, we're going to take, you can see there again, 56,840 dil. And, of course, he's got plenty of trite, okay? And we did the exact same formula. We took the base value out of LCARS, which was the 274 million. We divided it by his efficiency for the Federation, Federation ship structure, plus his pure titanium. And we redeemed exactly enough tokens to buy the calculated version. Now, you'll notice that the display difference is going to show 7.8 million. Well, we tried that. We redeemed 7.8 million. Actually, he redeemed 7.9 million. 7.9 million because we expected it to take 12.5 million, okay? At 7.9 million, he got the error. He got the error message. You don't have enough resources. So we open another 5 million DIL, and now, magically, we're able to do it. Now, if you might be wanting to double check the math, all right, we opened the 12.5 million. So now he's showing 12 million. Let's see if, yeah, here's the screenshot. 12,946,700. All right, we expected it to take exactly 12,007,874, so he should have been left with 938,825 when it was done. And let's take a look at our dilithium screenshot. What does it say, ladies and gentlemen? 938,825, down to the single dilithium. This is perfect. Now, you might be saying, well, there's more efficiencies than just resources. You're correct. There is rare materials. There is parts, okay? All kinds of stuff, and it's happening across the board. All right. If you take a look at that upgrade just a second ago, he should have been spending also rare gas and rare ore. So based off the displayed values, the original base values, it should have taken 375 rare gas and 90 rare ore. Well, that wasn't correct. Rare gas, based on all of the research that he has, should have been taking 321, but the discount display shows 321, and the rare ore, which was showing 77. Except the calculation was wrong. Rare gas was actually right. It was going to take 321, which means he should have had 1,998 left over. The ore was going to use 82, leaving you with 2728. All right. Then we take a look at his leftover parts. He showed us the disruptor bank, but mainly just to show us what he had left over. And voila, 1,998 raw gas or rare gas and 2728 raw ore. Rare ore. I keep saying raw. Rare ore. All right. So the math is precisely correct. The math is precisely correct when we base it off of the research, but the display is not showing up correctly. Let's give one more example here, folks. Here was a player that came to me wanting to do his Tier 7 shield, his polarized hull plating on his Enterprise, okay? You can see there, he showed us the discounted cost because that's what he was seeing. His client was showing him the research efficiencies there. You can see here a couple of his researches, pure titanium, Federation ship structure, okay? Because he was getting the error message. He couldn't spend enough. Well, this one was easy, all right? We can see right there, he had 274 million titanium, but he had, he had 274 million titanium and was requiring 266 million. That's what it was displaying. Well, we did the math, we backed it out, and we said, hey, listen, we're off. You need 18 million more titanium. 18 million more, even though it says that it requires less. So he redeemed 20 million in tokens, because that was easy just to click the 20. And we get this screenshot. I am the hero. I'm the hero because we figured it out. All right. By the way, not just me. Shout out goes to Order to Chaos in the official Discord. Shout out goes to Ripper, who works with Fartasia over at Elcars 2.0. It took all of us to kind of get together and hash out this math. But there we go. The display was not showing correctly. And you can see right there, he opened 20 million. He only needed to open 18 million more, but he had 2.686 million left over, which was precisely the amount that he wanted to do. Precisely. Now, I got one last example and why this is relevant. We have an example right here of a Tier 5 warp engine on an ISS Jellyfish. Now, guys, here's where we're going to kind of come full circle, all right? And I want to show you this. Right here is the cost, the discounted cost, by the way, of the Tier 5 Jelly. All right, you'll see that it takes, a bunch of stuff. And what I'm particularly looking at in this example is the tritanium and the dilithium. I'm looking at the tritanium and the dilithium because all the rest of the parts and all that stuff, there's Warp 40 plus research that I don't have access to, but I wanted to see this part of it. If we're looking at the tritanium and the dilithium, we're going to look at his research right here, which is just, because it's not a faction ship, guys, just pure trite and pure dill. There's nothing else that improves the efficiency of the ISS Jellyfish regarding resources, all right, because it's not a faction ship. Now, yes, there's parts research, the Explorer parts bartering and the Explorer parts pure, that's going to help, but we're talking just resources, just the tritanium. Well, there is no faction reputation for the ISS Jelly, so the only tritanium efficiency we have is pure trite. This player had level 10. It was maxed out, so that's a 100% bonus. The cost, the actual true cost, if you look in Elcars, is 350 million for this warp engine upgrade. 350 million trite. It's displaying 95.6 million, but based on the actual formula, it was going to require 175 million. I think it was 174,500,000 was the exact amount, which is exactly half. Okay, or the base amount divided by 1 plus 1, which is your 1 is the base and the other 1 is the 100% from the pure trite cost reduction or the pure trite efficiency bonus. So he had to redeem an extra 80-some million in tritanium, and then it worked. Now, here's where I explain now how this is happening. I had a conversation on the official Discord, and he said, well, this is not a display bug. Please don't describe it as a display bug. This is a calculation error. However, he's not wrong. He's right, except the client and the server are not calculating these researches the same way. If you are getting the error message, that's because your client is displaying one thing. You don't have enough. For example, the client says you have enough, so it's going to let you hit the upgrade button, but then you get to the server, and the server says you don't have enough, so it's going to reject you. It says you don't have enough. That's why you're getting the error message. If you do have enough, then you're going to see the display, but you're going to feel like it's costing more because let's say it shows 100 million. You send it to the server and it actually costs 150 million. You had 200 million in your base and it takes 150, so you're left with 50 and you thought it was supposed to be 100. That's actually working because that's the research that you have. The client is not showing the correct calculation as compared to the server. So first thing here I want to say is nobody's getting ripped off. Okay, everybody is paying exactly what they're supposed to be paying between the amount of research that you've completed and what the server is actually charging your account. That works properly. What's not working properly is the price tag that we actually see. What does this mean? It means that every player is going to have to look at Elcars to get the actual correct figure, then do your own math on the research. What a pain in the butt. That's terrible. What a horrible pain that is. All right. Why could that be happening? We could say it's a display bug, but not really. How is the client picking this number? Why is the client saying that this Tier 5 Jelly engine is only going to cost 95.6 million tritanium? That doesn't make any sense. Why did it pick that number? There is some calculation that is occurring in your client that is incorrect. It is a calculation error in your client, and Ripper solved it. He knows exactly what it is. In your base, every ship has no faction. Okay? And I know this is going to sound crazy, but you can math it out yourself. When your ship is in dock, it has no faction. That's not correct. That's not how it's supposed to be. But mathematically and on the coding side, that's what's happening. When your ship is in dock, it has no faction. So why is it showing 95.6 million for this? Because it's taking all of your faction research and combining it. This is what's crazy. This is why these values are so short, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do some quick math here. Let's do some quick math. If the original cost is 349,100,000 tritanium, and you take in the example of this player, let's go back to that slide that had the research. He's got Klingon ship structure 8, which is 68%. He has Federation ship structure 7, which is 54%. And he's got Romulan ship structure 6, which is 43%. That is a total set amount of bonuses of 265%. All right, including his pure trite. He gets 100 for pure trite, 68, 54, and 43 for a total of 265% in total bonuses plus your original base of 100%. So you're going to take the 349,100,000, divide that by 3.65, and ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the source of the client calculation bug. That number is 95,643,000. Which is exactly what the client is displaying. So we've got a coding problem here. The ships in our dock are not representing a faction, so it's taking all three of the faction efficiencies and displaying them, which is not obviously correct. The Jellyfish is no faction. Your Enterprise is obviously a Federation faction, but getting the benefit, at least the display, of Klingon and Romulan. Now, guys, this is not a player beneficial bug. I'm not exposing anything. As a matter of fact, we want it fixed because a lot of you guys are saying, well, gosh, I have the resources. Why is it charging me more? Or I have the resources. Why is it not letting me buy it? Because what you are seeing is not the actual cost. What you are seeing is a cost that is reduced too far in error. The server is calculating it properly. You are actually being charged the correct amount. The actual price is calculated properly, but you think it's charging you more because you think it's supposed to cost less. That's what's happening. These three researches right here, Klingon ship structure, Federation ship structure, and Romulan ship structure, that's the problem. And not even those three researches, but any faction research. If you have the Federation pure crystal or pure gas, Klingon pure crystal, or Romulan pure ore, same thing. It's affecting these efficiencies in such a way that it's blanketing any ship, even though it's not supposed to. Now, on the server side, like I said, working properly. So you're paying what you're supposed to be paying. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, and we have solved it. Thank you, Ripper. Thank you, Order to Chaos. And now, Scopely, the ball is in your court. When a ship is in our dock, it is getting the benefit of all three factions, whether or not it's a part of this faction. This is a bug that needs to be fixed. First of all, I'm going to tell you, I love seeing displayed savings. I love that the cost reductions and the cost efficiencies are now being displayed. Two things we need to work on. One, obviously it needs to be consistent because a lot of players are having to bounce back and forth right now to get it right. But I love that it's there because it's going to save us in having to hold so many millions in resources, and it's going to actually show us what we need to pay. But let's make sure it actually shows us what we have to pay. Because right now, it is incorrect. Right now, it is displaying to us a value that is far too low. The actual calculations that it's taking from the server side is correct, but you're not telling me what I have to pay, and this is a problem. A lot of your player base is very confused. A lot of your player base is getting an error message, and here is the fix. We just need to make sure that these researches are applying to the correct faction ships while they are in dock. Why is my Federation ship getting Romulan beneficiary or Romulan benefits from research? Why is the ISS Jellyfish getting any faction benefit at all? But it is. This is it. This is the math. This is what went wrong, Scopely, and now the ball is in your court. So community, now you know what you need to do if you get the error message. You're just going to have to math it out. You can reach out to me on Discord and I'll help you out. You can comment in the comments section below. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing a lot more like this, but I very much appreciate you guys coming and checking it out. And now you know why the pure research is not working truly as intended, at least not on the display side. Please do comment below, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and Scopely, your turn. My name is UltimatDJz from Talking Trek, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast, and I will see you next time.